Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek, and welcome to this special episode of Magnificent Mondays. It's not on a Monday, it's on a Thursday. But this year, the 4th of July, didn't fall on a Monday. So we're having a special episode featuring, as you may have guessed, Independence Day from 1996, a cracker of a film. It was the highest grossing film of that year. And at the time, it was the second highest grossing film of all time, only second to Jurassic Park. So there we go. So, some information about the film. Written and co-written and directed by Roland Emmerich, who had previously brought us Stargate, Universal Soldier, Moon 44, and has since brought us such classics, I put in quotes, as Independence Day Resurgence, which I must admit, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. And other things as well. Moonfall, again, a bonkers film, but I really like. The Day After Tomorrow, 2012, etc. Amongst others. Amongst others. As I said, co-written by Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, his longtime writing partner, stars Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, Mary McDonnell, Judd Hirsch, Margaret Collin, Randy Quaid, Vivica A. Fox, Robert Loggia, is that how you pronounce his name? I've never known how to pronounce his name. And many more, and many, many more. With an amazing musical score by David Arnold. Oh, I meant to look that up. Never mind, don't matter. You don't see much of David Arnold now. He was massive for a while, doing these amazing themes and scores for stuff like Stargate and this and the James Bond franchise. But you don't see much of him these days. I hope he comes back. Particularly in Bond. He's my second favourite Bond composer after John Barry. Anyway, where were we? Independence Day. Had a budget of $75 million, dollars, and as I said, it was the highest grossing excuse me, film of 1996, grossing $817.4 million, dollars, which was a lot of money back then. Um, right, so enough of that stuff. Let's just, by the way, the development of the film, it came from an idea. This is according to Wikipedia. The idea for the film came when Emmerich and Devlin were in Europe promoting their film Stargate. Never heard of it. A reporter asked Emmerich why he made the film. I have heard of Stargate, obviously, but a reporter asked Emmerich why he made a film with content like Stargate if he did not believe in aliens. Yes, he said that before in other interviews that he doesn't believe in aliens. Don't know why, but anyway. Emmerich stated he was still fascinated by the idea of an alien arrival and further explained his response by asking the reporter to imagine what it would be like to wake up one morning and to discover 15-mile wide spaceships, as in spaceships that are 15 miles wide, not 15-mile wide spaceships, but whatever, were hovering over the world's largest cities. Emmerich then turned to Devlin and said, I think I have the idea for our next film. Because that's what he talks like. Because he's German. So there we go. That's how the film came about from an interview of all places. Right, so let's just get on with the film, shall we? We'll get on with the film. But before we start, don't forget, like and subscribe, share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. This isn't live like I used to do them. I'm recording them for the time being, but I'm recording as live, so you get all warts and all stuff. It'll be going up on Rumble and Spotify and Amazon Music podcasts. So there we go. I'm also on Facebook, X, and Instagram. Links are in the description, as are links to my two books, Mercury Rapids and Silent Predator. Give them a whirl. They're on Kindle and paperback. Right, I will make myself teachy tiny. Hang on, we'll have to do that. There we go. And make myself teachy tiny, and we'll get on with the film, shall we? As usual. There we go. As usual, we'll not be just watching the film, because YouTube would have a conniption fit. So we'll be watching it as a series of stills, maybe the odd snippet of video. But anyway, so here we go. Independence Day. Off we jolly well go. Oh, God, I forgot to mute it. I forgot to mute it. Right, here we go. 20th Century Fox, remember them? Not them anymore, are they? Right, pardon me, I'm burping. Tell you, as alive. Right, so here we go. 20th Century Fox presents. It's 1996. CG were in its kind of in its infancy. It was only 3 years after Jurassic Park, but they were throwing everything at the screen. But oddly enough, although this film, there's quite a lot of CG effects in this film, a lot of miniatures and model work, and apparently this film had the most. Maybe it still does. Had the most miniature work, or miniature pieces of miniature examples of miniature work or whatever than any other film. Don't ask me how many, but since the rise of CG and all that, it's probably that record might last forever. But anyway, here we go. And by the way, I'm talking about the lots of that going on in the titles. So there we go. Independence Day, and then it begins. It tells us it's July the 2nd. There you go. So we don't start on Independence Day. We start on July the 2nd. And here we are. We're on the moon. There's the American flag. This is the Apollo 11 landing site, so it must be the Sea of Tranquility on the moon. And there's the plaque. I don't. Did they put a plaque like that on them? I don't actually know. My mate will know. I've never bothered to look it up. We'll say they did. But we're hearing the words of Michael, of Neil Armstrong and all them, and whoever's saying the words, I don't know. Have we got subtitles on? Yes, we have. Right, fair enough. Why aren't they coming on? Right, so and then we see something's happening because the footprints that were supposed to last forever on the moon, or nearly forever, are starting to shake and do that look and disappear because something's approaching over the moon. And yeah, there's the bottom part of the lunar module. Unlike on Transformers, Dark of the Moon, or that, where they showed the entire thing. I turned it off. I genuinely turned that off after that bit. And that's right at the beginning as well, isn't it? Hate Michael Bay, but anyway. Here we go. We see a shadow coming across the moon's surface. Look, this is a motif that will play itself out several times in this film. But there's the Earth hanging like a blue bolly. That's what we used to call them at school. Marbles in the sky, in the vastness of the firmament. And here comes the big ship moving over. Obviously, an homage to Star Wars, isn't it? The original Star Wars, when the Star Destroyer comes over. Right. Then we get a flash, and we're in New Mexico. There we go. SETI. It tells us here what it's called here in a moment. There we go. SETI. 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 Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. New Mexico. It tells us there. And here we see a young fella practicing his golf, practicing his putting, and then he looks up, and it's not Dean Devlin. For some reason, Dean Devlin on the audio commentary keeps saying, "It's not me," because people think it's him. It looks nothing like him. And it looks nothing like Harry Kim either, Garrett Wong. Looks nothing like him either. I don't know his name, to be honest. I don't know who this young actor is. But anyway, they picked up a signal coming from outer space. So he goes and phones up Eric Avari, who you may know from Stargate. They brought him over from Stargate. Here he is. He's obviously the boss. And says, "Listen to this." So he bangs his head and comes in. So that they're saying, that it's nothing from, it's not an aircraft or anything like that. And she's checking where the signal's coming from. Her, who kind of reminds me of, I forgot her bloody name already. Jeff Goldblum's screen wife in this film. I think she looks a bit like her, but anyway, it's obviously not her. She says the signal's coming from the moon. Oh no, there we go. With a graphic to show us, which I'm sure they've got at SETI. I'm sure they've got computers like that show graphics of that nature. Anyway, so he goes listening to it again. We hear the noise. I will play a bit for you. I'll unmute it and we'll listen to it. The signal from another world or an alien invasion ship. It's not like In Contact, is it? Right, then we get another flash. We're landing on these flashes as well, aren't we? Oddly enough. Right, here comes General... I forgot his name as well. I'm terrible with bloody names. It's Robert Lodgier anyway. General Grey. There we go. General William Grey. At the Pentagon, I assume. Being briefed about the situation. Obviously, the huge ship has appeared near the moon, and there you go. They've got an image of it, and it's over 550 kilometres. What's that in miles? I don't know, about 300 miles wide in it. And it says it's got a mass, one quarter. It says 1/4. I hate it when they say that. Why can't you say quarter? Anyway, 1/4 that of the moon, so it's pretty heavy as well. And he says, what is it? Is it a meteor? It says, no, it's can't be. It says, why not? It says, because it's slowing down. Says Kevin Spacey's brother. I don't know if it is. I don't think it is. It just reminds me of Kevin Spacey. Like a thin Kevin Spacey. Anywho. They're at Space Command, look, it says there. At the Pentagon, it says there on that thing there. So it says, gets on the phone, get me the Secretary of Defence. Well, wake him, because it's the middle of the night, we learn. So, well, actually, it's early morning. Because we see that this is the First Lady, Mary McDonnell. She's the wife of the President, 'cause that's what the First Lady is. By the way, Happy Independence Day. I forgot to say that right at the beginning, didn't I? Happy Independence Day to all my American friends out there. I'm sure it'll be temporary. We'll take over again when we get on us feet. The British Empire rules once more. Anywho, where were we? Mary McDonnell, here she is. She's the First Lady. She's in Los Angeles doing press stuff, junkets and all that malarkey that politicians and their wives have to do. So it's 2:45 in the morning there, so that means it's 5:45 a.m. In Washington, because that's on the East Coast. If you're not savvy with maps and things, and there it is. There's Bill Pullman as President Whitmore, who used to be a fighter pilot. Luckily enough, all the main characters that come together in this film just happen to be the best people for what is needed at the time. Luckily. Anyway, there he is. So they're talking away, and then he says he's got his daughter lying with him, and she's saying, didn't let her stay up watching TV all night. He says, no, of course I didn't. And he wakes her up, and she grasses on him. And we can see there's a TV on already with some news, and we can see the picture on the TV is all like coming in and out and fuzzy, and like interference. That's what I'm trying to say. There's interference in the TV signal, and we also learned that President Whitmore is not a popular president right now. His approval's slipping because he's a nice fella. He's a nice guy, and I suppose he's an honest politician, which something of an anathema. Or an oxymoron, but he seems to be. So he's like compromising a lot, and they think he's weak. So anyway, there we go. That's what she's saying. They elected a warrior and got a wimp. By the way, traitor. That's not about the president. It's a joke. Because his daughter says, "Dad, let me stay up to watch Letterman," as in David Letterman, and he says to a traitor because she's grassed him up to his wife. Right, so he's off for his breakfast now. Here's Connie. She's his, I don't know what she is. His chief of staff, I suppose. I think that's what she is, his chief of staff. With amazing legs. I'm sorry, she just has a look at them amazing legs. So she's saying, warning him about his approval rating and all that stuff. So it's where we learn that, he's making too many compromises as president, and he's supposed to stick to his guns and all that stuff. Anyway, then this chap comes along and says, the Secretary of Defence is on the phone. So he goes and gets it. And then obviously he's been told, there's an alien spaceship bearing down upon the Earth. And so he replies with that. Could you say that again? In an English accent, obviously. Then this satellite appears. It glides by. And then it's going to crash in. Here's the spaceship. Looks like, kind of reminds me of the whale probe in its colouring from Star Trek 1, 2, 3, 4. But anyway, The satellite crashes into the there we go, into the spaceship, obviously causing it no damage. Would the satellite explode? I don't think it would. I think it'd just disintegrate, wouldn't it? There'd just be bits of it everywhere. It wouldn't go in a fiery conflagration. Although they do have small amounts of fuel on board, don't they? But I don't know if it's like explodable fuel. It's just like for adjustments in it in orbit and stuff like that. But anyway, and attitude and all that jazz. Whatever. Right, another flash. I'm good at landing on these today because they have quick flashes. Right, we're in New York now. I can't remember the name of the place. I don't know. I've got the filming locations here somewhere. Where have I got it? Where have I got it? Bear with me. Bear with me. Come on. Here we go. We're in Donnelly Memorial Park in West New York, New Jersey, where David's playing chess with his father. This is Jeff Goldblum and Judd Hirsch. I think Judd Hirsch were only a few years older than Jeff Goldblum. I think 12. Oh, it seems to be 12, doesn't it? Is it 12? It might be more. It might be a bit less. I can't remember. Let's look. Sod it. Right. Jeff Goldblum. I'll open him up. And Judd Hirsch. I'll open him up and we'll see how old they are. So bear with me. Jeff Goldblum, 1952. Judd Hirsch, 1935. So it's 35, 45. Also, he's 17 years older than him. But I think he's supposed to be considerably older than Jeff Goldblum, the character. Anyway, whatever. Where were we? Right, they're playing chess. Anyway, listening to the radio as they do so. So there he is. Jeff Goldblum being Jeff Goldblum, like he is in pretty much every film. But everybody loves Jeff Goldblum, don't they? He's telling I forgot his name. Julius, his name is Julius. Whatever his name is, he's David and he's Julius. I forgot the bloody surname. What am I like? Levinson. There we go. Tell you, David Levinson and Julius Levinson. They're playing chess, and Julius is telling him to hurry up, And then he says, "You know how long it takes for those cups to decompose?" And he says, "I'll start to decompose if you don't hurry up with your shot." Your shots. You don't take shots in chess, do you? With your move. Shot. Anywho. Right, so. And he mentions, we notice there that David's got a wedding ring on, but he's been divorced from Connie, who we saw earlier on. There's all these connections in the film. Connie, who is President Whitmore's chief of staff or whatever. They've been divorced for 3 years, and anyway, so but he still wears the wedding ring because he still loves her, and he's got a black fingernail there. He trapped his finger in a drawer or something. Don't know. But Julius is telling him to move on, and then David replies by checkmating him, and he says, "Checkmate. See you later, Dad." So off he goes. Right, so he goes into work, and we learn that David works at a local, I think, a local cable station or satellite station or whatever. He calls him, his dad jokingly refers to him as a cable repairman. So it must be a cable station. And he works there. But, he's a technician. He's a genius because he went to MIT and all that. But now he works at a cable station. And obviously they're inundated with calls because of the signal that they're getting from the satellite feeds is all disrupted. So David's got to sort it out. There's I forgot his bloody name now. Feinstein. I forgot his first name. Harvey Feinstein or Firestein as his boss, as David's boss, Marty. And he says it's they've tried pointing the dishes at another satellite, but it's like they're not there. So and he looks at the data and says this is impossible. But he sorts it out. He figures it out. But then we cut to, I think it says Imperial Valley, California. But they're watching the day the Earth stood still on the old telly. But even that signal's getting screwed up. And that's not a satellite signal. That'll be a regular coming through the air signal. So maybe it's at the station. It must be at the station. So it's not the TV. And this is where we meet the me and names. What am I like? The Case family. That's it. The Russell Case, played by Randy Quaid. This is his family. His two sons and a daughter. There's Miguel, Troy, and you know what? I don't know what his daughter's called. I'm going to have to look down now. I don't know. I have no idea what his daughter's called, but she's barely in it. Surely she's got a credit. I don't know. I have no idea what his daughter's called. Maybe it'll come up in the subtitles. Anyway, there she's checking her makeup. Alright, then this chap arrives. He's a local farmer, and he's really angry. And he comes out, and it was called Lucas. He said, "Morning, Lucas." And he says, "Look at these, whatever it is." I don't know what it is. I don't know. Alfalfa. I have no idea. Oh, the carrots. I don't know they are. No, not carrots. I don't know what they are. He says, "Got a whole goddamn crop full of these," and you think he's going to get really angry and start kicking off. And he says, "If your dad's not in the air in 5 minutes, I'm going to get somebody else." I thought, well, that de-escalated quickly. But there you go. Oh, in 20 minutes, whatever. I'm getting someone else. And then he just goes. I thought, oh, right, fair enough. I thought we were going to start smashing the place up, but he didn't. Then we cut to Randy Quaid in his plane. He flies crop dusters, but he used to fly fighter planes in Vietnam, which is important. But here he is. But he's a drunk, so he's flying under the influence. Is that illegal? Probably. So anyway, so he starts crop dusting what do they call it? There we go. Does that? Dusts a field, and Miguel's playing pop with him. He lands on the road and gets out, and he's all drunk. And he says, "You idiot, Lucas's farm is on the other side of town." And he goes, "Are you sure?" So anyway, they see getting his booze out because he's a drunk, because he were abducted by aliens years and years earlier, he claims. So anyway, then we see some things happening with the big spaceships. Look, it's all breaking apart, and the destroyers are separating from the mothership. They're the destroyers. These are 15 miles wide. And there's 30 of them, and they're going to come down. Much like in V, remember that? I think they borrowed quite a bit of stuff from V, to be honest. They're going to come down and hover above the major city, or 30 major cities of the world. Right, so another flash, and here we are back in Washington D.C. at the White House. These are obviously White House press aides or whatever. Then they want to tell something. The press are on their back about what the White House's official stance is on what's going on, and she's saying, "No, there is no official position." I said, "Well, whatever." Right, so they're having a big meeting in the Oval Office. This is the Secretary of Defence, who's Mr. Lipnicki, who's not a nice person. He says, we should go to DEFCON 3, and but President says, well, but think about it. Pardon me. But then military people come in and tell us, they show him the picture of the big ship, the mothership, and then all the other ones that have come off, and that are going to be entering the atmosphere in the next 15 minutes. So, then we're back with David. He's getting his lunch or whatever, or breakfast, or I don't know, out of the microwave, and he's worked out what's causing the problem. And it's a signal embedded in the satellite feed. And what's happened, spoilers, is that the aliens are using our own satellites and our own technology, essentially, against us. And this could be why David, later on in the film, we'll get to that, never mind. We'll get to that. This is how David can, do what he does later on in the film, because they're using our technology. So essentially, not the technology, but the way the technology communicates in binary is compatible. So that's what I'm trying to say. But we'll get to that later. So he's saying he's worked it out. So he just needs to find the frequency and all that stuff, and they'll be able to block it out and and filter it out, and then this picture will go back to normal. So Marty's all happy, and he gives him a kiss. And then we cut back to, we're somewhere, I think this is Iraq. And then we see a huge thing. Hang on, there we go. A huge cloud of something all glowy coming in, across the landscape. And we see this, obviously, this is happening in 30 places across the world. Then we cut to a submarine. It tells us which submarine it is. The USS Georgia, there we go, in the Persian Gulf. They've picked up on the radar. Something's blocking out the radar. Obviously, it's one of the destroyers. By the way, this scene was shot in the same set, the same submarine set as Crimson Tide. So there you go. Just that bit of trivia there. So they said radar may be malfunctioning, but the infrared is totally off the map, and they show us a picture of that in a minute. Or it doesn't. It would do. There we go. You can see a big red thing heading for them. Right, so they're getting sightings from all over the world, and they've got what they call an AWACS plane in the area off the California coast near another one. So they're going to see what they can see. So, but before that, they're going to watch the news. And I know his face. What have I seen him in? He's got him on the right. He's got a very familiar looking face. I don't know if I've seen him in, but anyway. They're watching Sky News. Is that a thing in America? I don't know. I know it's owned by it used to be owned by Rupert Murdoch, didn't it? And his Fox empire. And I know it's a thing in the UK. We've got Sky News here. And I know it's a thing in Australia. Sky News. But was it a thing in America? I don't know. Anyway, they're watching Sky News. And something's happening. There we go. They can see in Russia, this thing's approaching Moscow or whatever. So there we go. They're declaring martial law. Here's the AWACS. Got zero visibility, and they suddenly break through some clouds. And here we go. They break through some clouds, and they see this huge fat wall of fire heading towards them. Hang on. As we can see, there it is. Hang on, I'll get another shot of it. There it is, and see that, and it tries to move the plane out of the way, but it just goes straight to the wall of fire. Why has it got a wall of fire around it? The destroyer, I don't know. Is it just the air around it that's just superheated because it's coming to the atmosphere? It's not friction, it's a bow wave that causes. It is friction, but it's a bow wave that heats up the air into a plasma. Is it that? I don't know. It's never explained, but obviously they get destroyed. There we go. So they've lost contact. Anyway, so the president decides he's going to stay there in Washington, D.C., and he orders that the vice president and the chiefs of staff, blah, 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 all the people necessary to continue the government, they're going to send them to NORAD. Cheyenne Mountain, another Stargate reference. Although, in the film Stargate, the Roland Emmerich original one, it's not called Cheyenne Mountain, where we see NORAD, or where the Stargate is. It's called Creek Mountain, I think. But it's actually, I think it was actually filmed at Cheyenne Mountain. But anyway, so that's what they're going to do. There you go. So the president says, people should stay calm and stay in their homes and all that stuff. Right. So, back to David, printing out some ones and zeros. Sorry, my cat's running about, being a pain. And he comes out and he says, Marty, I've got a fix on that signal. I should be able to block it out. Got a lock on the signal, as I was saying. Sorry, I had to go let the cat out then. Sorry. There's a blip to go let the cat out. As live. Anyway, It's got a lot of the signal, so it should be able to filter it out. But he says, but it doesn't matter because it'll be gone in like 7 hours anyway. Because it's every time the signal recycles, it's shortening each time or reducing its size each time. So eventually it'll disappear. And they're saying, "Aren't you watching what's going on the news?" And this is where we find out that he's going to see Connie on the TV. Um, so that's where we're going to learn that it's aliens basically. Telling that they're heading for the cities, and people should stay calm. But obviously everybody doesn't stay calm. They're all the rest. Everybody's going to head down to the bomb shelter under the building. But then we cut to back to Russell Case. He's having a coffee in this diner or wherever it is, or is it? I presume it's an airfield because all these are mechanics, so I presume these are airfield mechanics. But this one here, this fella at the back, is Randy Oglesby, and if you're a Star Trek fan, he's been in quite a few Star Trek episodes, but he's probably most famous for being in Star Trek Enterprise. He played a Xindi in Star Trek Enterprise. Anyway, but he's playing a mechanic in this, and he's telling everybody about Russell Case's experience when he was abducted by aliens, and asked them, did they probe him and stuff like that. But then it all starts shaking. Does the cafe? That's where he's looking at stuff shaking. They all get up to look, and by the way, this dark area here, they built this a set, is this, and for some reason I don't know why, but they only built the set up to there. I think they thought, well, we won't need it. We won't need the rest of it. But then they found that when they were filming the scene, they did actually need the rest of that bit. So rather than just building more onto the set, they just put like a black board up and tried to hide it with a Coors Light and a whatever that is. Anyway, whatever. So they go out and they see there's another one of them. There's a big shadow coming over. So there we go. They're having a look. It's a very defined shadow, isn't it, that comes over? But yet they're looking and seeing all this jiggedy jaggedy cloud. It's weird, but anyway. And it's coming to Hollywood as well. Hooray for Hollywood! This is where we're going to meet Will Smith. Yay! I think there's a bit of everything's shaking. There's a bit of an earthquake, and was that earlier on? Did we see that earlier? I might have skipped over it. Young, I forgot his name. He comes in as the kid. Here he goes. Look, Mommy, look it. I think we saw him earlier on. I've skipped over it because it was a really quick scene. Where there was a bit of an earthquake or a shaking. It might be in this bit. Have a look. No, it must have been earlier on. There were a bit of shaking, and she said, "Don't, it's nothing." And oh no, it's this bit. It's this bit. I thought it was. It's this bit where everything's shaking, and Will Smith wakes up. He says, "Is that an earthquake?" And she says, "It's it's nothing. Go back to sleep because it's early morning now." There, remember it was 2:45 a.m. at the beginning of the film in Los Angeles. Now it's I don't know, a few hours later. Early morning. Everybody's starting to get up. Right, but back in Washington though, it's backwards and forwards, isn't it? I mean, no wonder I can't keep up. There's the Lincoln Memorial, and here's the shadow of the ship moving over the city. That's the president's daughter. Going to send her down to the shelter underneath the White House. And but so in what's happening in New York as well, there they go, the shadows moving over the city. And then there's kids playing basketball. And then they hear cars screeching, and cars are stopping to look and see what's happening, and then they're running into one another, fender benders. That's what they're having. But anyway, back in David's building, everybody's running down to the nuclear bunker or whatever the hell it is in the basement. But he's heading for the roof because he's got to see what it is. Anyway, these two old men, they've got to look because he's always got to have like a wizened old man looking in his films, hasn't it? As Roland Emmerich. I don't know. It reminds me of the beginning of Godzilla, when Godzilla first appears in New York. There's an old man there, isn't there, watching. Anyway, there we go. The ship appears out of the clouds, emerges from the its protective cloud or whatever it is. So they're all like, "Wow, look at that!" And then suddenly it dissipates quickly. By the way, does the cloud? That comes out the cloud, and then suddenly it's not there anymore. So they're all looking, and everybody's panicking. Obviously, there it is. Look, cool. And he's like, "Oh my god!" And then he goes the signal. So he knows what's up now. He knows the score. More cars crashing into each other and people panicking, all with various types of. What's up with him? It's like the village people are out as well. Right, so there goes. It settles down above the Empire State Building, and the other one in Washington hovers above the White House. Cause not many skyscrapers in Washington D.C., is there? As far as I know. And he says, "We better get on the air," does the president, "because there can be a lot of frightened people out there." And she says, "Yes, I'm one of them," does Connie. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, their dog, Boomer, I think he's called, brings one of Will Smith's shoes. Anyway, he gets up, he goes for a wee, and he sees all the neighbours are leaving town. And he says, "Oh, there must be all these quakes," because obviously he doesn't know what's going on. And he goes into the kitchen and he sees things on the news about the alien spaceship, but he just thinks it's about an earthquake. Then the kid comes in. What's his bloody name? I forgot the name of the kid. I won't mind, but he's in the sequel. A different actor, obviously. Hey, Dylan. He comes in saying he's shooting the aliens. Oh, he's shooting the aliens, eh? You think you're tough? So anyway, he says, "I'm going to go and get the paper." So out he goes, and he's looking at the paper. He's obviously got no peripheral vision, or not much of it. And he's a fighter pilot, for Christ's sake. He should be noticing all this stuff, but he doesn't. He's interested in the paper. He notices people are looking at something. Other people are packing bags and driving away. There you go. And then he hears a helicopter fly over, and then he follows the helicopter, and he looks to see what's going on. Except I've skipped over. There we go. A CG helicopter flies over. There he sees it. How did he not notice that? Maybe because it's just that massive. Maybe his brain blocked it out. Being too weird to see. Anyway. So, and here comes Dylan saying, "Boom, boom." And actually, I'm sure I remember. I don't know if it's the theatrical version or what. I'm sure I remember a version of this. I'm going to have to watch the theatrical version again. This is the extended version, by the way, where she's got a cup of coffee for him, and when she sees it, she drops the cup. But it doesn't happen here. I don't know why have they taken it out. I've no idea. Unless I'm having a Mandela effect thing. I don't know. Anyway, David comes running back down from the roof, and he finds Marty there. He's hiding under the table. There he is, under a desk, on the phone to his mother. And David says, "Tell her to get out of town." So he says, "Go and stay at Aunt Esther's in Atlanta." And so David explains what's going on. He says it's like chess. They're positioning themselves all over the world, and when the signal ends, using the signal, and when the signal ends, it's time to act or whatever. He says it's checkmate, whatever. Right, so he's got to call his other people, but not his lawyer. Then the president comes on and says, "Everybody stay calm, don't worry." So David phones up Constance, Constance, phones her up, but she don't want to talk to him. She's saying, there's a bit of a crisis, and she basically hangs up on him. They still love each other, but like they had irreconcilable differences. But they do still love each other. Right. And he's trying to explain what's going on, but she doesn't want to know. She doesn't believe him. She thinks he's being paranoid. So he's going to go to his dad's. Meanwhile, New York's just gone to pot completely. Because, I don't know, There's all this graffiti being put there just because the aliens have arrived. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, it's all gone crazy and haywire. So he's gone to see Julius as David. But meanwhile, back in LA, um, Will Smith, Captain Hiller, Captain Stephen Hiller, that's his name, has got his uniform on because he's been recalled back to base, back to El Toro, which is his base. So he's heading there. And then she's saying, you can't go, you're supposed to have the 4th of July off. And he's saying, well, they cancelled it. And he says, why are you acting like this? And she goes to the window, and she opens the curtains. And there's because of that. I thought, and then, actually, if I were him, I'd just say, well, yes, because of that I've been recalled back to base. Are you a thick woman? But he don't say that. That's what I'd have said. But he says to her, well, why don't you get Dylan and come and stay on the base with me, and you'll see there's nothing to worry about. Oh, and he says he does the old, I don't think they've flown 90 billion light years to come down here and get all rowdy. There you go. Which is exactly what they've come for, as luck would have it. Anyway, so off he goes. This is where he's telling her that she could come and stay on the base with him, because he loves her and he wants to marry her. But anyway, so they have a kiss. Right. Meanwhile, in New York, David's arrived at Julius's and has got his shotgun out as Julius, because obviously law and order has fallen apart. And David wants Julius to drive him to Washington D.C. So, right. Then the First Lady, who's in Los Angeles, remember, she's on the phone to her husband, and she's saying, I want you to get out of the city. And she says, well, I'll finish these interviews and then we'll go. They're going to take him to Nellis Air Force Base, which is in Nevada, I do believe. It says Area 51. It's Area 51, isn't it? Well, that's part of the Nellis range. Anyway, right. So Julius and David are driving towards Los Angeles. Driving towards Washington D.C. They're driving away from New York, along with everybody else. But David's getting angry because Julius isn't driving fast enough. And he says, well, you think we'll get to Washington? It won't be there. Foreshadowing. Meanwhile, in Imperial Valley and the Russell Case family, I tell you, it's really hard to keep track of this. They're getting ready, I think, soon to start packing up and leaving because everybody else is leaving. So, that's it, yes. Miguel's there watching the telly. We learn that Russell Case has been arrested. Been arrested for I forgot what he's been arrested for. What does it say? Dropping leaflets from the air. That was it, right? So he's been arrested for that. Telling everybody they were kidnapped by aliens 10 years ago. So anyway, turns out he's right. And here's Randy Oglesby again telling the news that they abused him sexually. Because that's hilarious. Pardon me. Here's Russell's daughter with a chap who basically wants to, get laid, basically, before everybody dies. And he's not the only chap she tries it on with, but I don't know what her name is. But there we go. Miguel grabs hold of her and drags her out, says, we're leaving. Then Russell Case arrives, and Miguel, he wants to look after the family. He doesn't like, obviously, Russell is not Miguel's dad, by the way, he's his stepdad. I think Russell is the dad of the daughter and Troy, the other son, I think, but not of Miguel. Anywho, so they don't get on. We learn that Troy's ill. It tells us later on what's up with him, but I can't remember what. He's got to take this medicine or he gets sick. And so he throws a paddy now, does Troy, and smashes his medicine on the floor. Saying, I'm not a baby anymore. You know, and I don't want your stupid medicine, but that's keeping you from dying, you silly little get. Anyway, whatever. Meanwhile, back in New York, police are telling, because it's America, they're telling people not to shoot at the aliens. It wouldn't have mattered anyway, but right. So Captain Hill has arrived, and we see he's got a letter in his locker, and it's from NASA because he applied to become an astronaut and fly the space shuttle. Which of course is no more, but anyway, never mind. And he will meet Harry Connick Jr., who plays his best friend, Jimmy Wilder. And he reads the letter out and he says, unfortunately, his application's been rejected. And he says, you've got to kiss Booty. And there we go, he's saying, and all that to get ahead. And then as he's going through his locker, he drops something on the floor. There's Stephen, and it's a ring. There we go. It's a ring. It's for Jasmine, and Jimmy says this is a wedding ring. Weirdest wedding ring I've ever seen, but never mind. Wedding rings are just usually gold bands, aren't they? Not dolphins with a jewel in, but never mind. He says this is a wedding ring. There you go. He says I thought you were going to break it off, but obviously he doesn't want to. And then he says to her, I like Jasmine and all that, but you're never going to get to fly the space shuttle if you marry a stripper. And then we cut to, there you go, Jasmine at work. And she's not a stripper, she's an exotic dancer. I don't think she strips, she dances about with not much on, which is fine. There she is. And she's watching there's not many people in, by the way. Everybody's out looking at the aliens, but the news is on, and she's seeing what's going on. Anyway, apparently she just came in for to pick up her paycheck and then got talked into working. But she's had enough now. She's going. One of her workmates says she's done a sign. Look, she's gonna go, and Jasmine says, "Don't go. I've got a bad feeling about this." So she promised me you won't go. She goes, "I promise," but obviously she does go and dies. Right, so she grabs Dylan and the dog, and they're heading out, leaving the city. And he comes in. Mario says, "If you leave, you're fired," because it says that there. And she goes, "Nice working Witcher, Mario," and leaves. So she doesn't work for Mario anymore. Right, Julius and David are still heading to Washington. How far away is Washington DC from New York City? I imagine it's a fair old drive. Not like 20 minutes, is it? I imagine it's a fair old way. Several hours, I should imagine. I don't know. And he's got his computer out, and he's got a little disc, and it's got every phone book in America, and he wants Constance's phone number. And he says, she's an important person. She won't have her phone number in the phone book. And he says, she always keeps portable phone, or whatever he calls it. There you go. List of emergencies, but she might use a different name. He doesn't know what name it's under, so he's looking under, Spano, which were a maiden name, or Spunky, which were a college nickname. And Julie says, "Why not use Levinson?" He says, "Well, she didn't use that name when we were married." He says, "Well, just try it." But he does. He goes checking the other names. And he finds the name, so right. So there we go. It's there. The number's there. So they arrive outside the White House. Why is it doing that? There we go. They arrive outside the White House, and he phones her up and says, "Oh, it's busy." And she's using it, so he can use her signal. He puts a device on the roof of the car. Because remember, he's a genius. He's not just a cable repairman. He can triangulate her position in the White House, as it says there. So he phones her up and he says, "Don't there you go." He says, "Come to the window," and he waves. And she says, "How does he do that?" So they've got into the White House. But now, what's going to happen now? They're going to send a helicopter over to the alien spaceship. They've tried. I imagine they've tried radio and all that stuff, and been no reply. So they're going to send a helicopter, with all these flashing lights on, and I have no idea why. um, not the way it works in this, but so there you go. They've outfitted this helicopter with a form of visual communication with all these flashing lights on. So that's what they're going to try. I don't know how they think this might work, or this might, help them communicate with aliens. But so off they go. Here's David and Julius being ushered into the Oval Office. I think it's the Oval Office. Says, "I'll go get him. Don't touch anything." That's where we learn that before they were president, David and Whitmore had a fight, and David had punched him because he thought he were having an affair with Constance, but apparently he wasn't. So anyway, so these are the helicopters approaching the spaceship. Here's a bit of ad-libbing, or what is that the word? Ad-libbing from Jeff Goldblum. With his me, a poor immigrant boy, because Julius is saying, "Oh, imagine the people that have been in this room, politicians, actors, sportsmen, great people, and now me, Julius Levinson." And he's going, "Oh, imagine that. It's a dream." That were a bit of spontaneity, right? So the president comes in and he tells him after being urged to tell him. It says, "I know why we've got satellite disruption." He talks about they can't communicate with the other ships around the world because of line of sight and the curve of the Earth. So they need to use the satellites to communicate with each other. Why they didn't bring their own satellites, I don't know, but they're using ours to communicate, and that's why they're using this signal, and that's why that's disrupting our satellites. And then he says, "I've found a signal in there," and he says, "And it's a countdown," and he shows on his laptop the clock is ticking. Hang on, there you go. Shows it on his laptop. 28 minutes, 27 minutes, 59 seconds, and that's showing that all that is the signal in some binary form, I imagine, doing all that. Showing how clever David is, and he can analyse all this stuff. Right, the helicopter's heading towards them. And we see the lights start to come on in a minute. There you go, initiate communication sequence. And the lights, they start off like that. And I thought, well, fair enough. I thought, are they going to talk to them? Are they going to start using like prime numbers? Have one light come on, and then two, and then three. You can't have two. Yeah, you can. Two, and then three. I don't know what prime numbers are. Then 5, and then 7, and 11. Do it like that. But no, it just does that, and then just suddenly starts flashing all of them at once, like that. I thought the aliens might be terrified. I think what they're doing. But and maybe they do think that because something's happening, and then all this opens up. Haven't they got any guns on the outside? I don't know. And external armaments? Obviously not, because this opens up, which I think is the hangar bay where all the fighters are. Because we see the alien fighters come out of here later on. But this opens up and they shoot down the helicopters. They're responding. Look, then we see they're going to shoot them down. Here it goes. There we go. Pew, there we go. And then they shoot the others as well. Pew, pew. There we go. Laser bolts. Cool. So, that didn't work, did it? I'm not surprised. I'd have shot them down as well. Got flashing your lights at me. Don't like my neighbour parking his car right outside our house and just like flashing his lights at me. What were you doing? He'd have got my attention, yeah, fair enough, but I'd have gone out and brayed him. No. Anyway, so they're evacuating. They're leaving the White House because the president believes David, and especially now that helicopter's been blown up. So they're leaving in, is it Marine One, the helicopter? Whatever. See, there's only 9 minutes now, so they've been fanning about for like 15 minutes or whatever. So they're getting out. They're taking her to Nellis. There's a helicopter on the roof. Jasmine's stuck in traffic. Meanwhile, her friend who did the sign, remember, she's gone to the top of this building, that one there in the middle, which is, it's now called the US Bank Tower. But at the time of this, I think it was the first interstate bank world centre. But apparently in Los Angeles, it's known locally as the Library Tower. Finished in 1989, so there you go. Anyway, so they're heading up there. Please take me away, says that fella. Earth sucks, take me with you. I think I'd be saying that as well. Earlier on in the news, a woman had said, "Oh, I hope they brought back Elvis." And I thought, what? Did she think Elvis had been abducted by aliens? God knows. Anyway, so she's arrived. This is with a sign saying, "Welcome, make yourself at home." There's the first lady being evacuated in the helicopter, and then the countdown ends. Oh, look, they're opening up. I think we might see it. I don't know. It might be coming up. It's opening up. Is the ship? There it is. It's so pretty. And then it's happening. This, all over the world. All the ships are doing that. And then David is getting on Air Force One. Gets on Air Force One now. And then he says, "Oh look, countdown's up. Diddly, time's up." And then the ships activate themselves. There we go, with glowing energy, and start blowing stuff up left, right, and centre. There we go. That's the end of them. Boom. Cool model work. This where they're blowing the buildings up. They were built on an angle, and blown up that way. I don't know why an angle worked, but maybe for the direction or something of the debris. I don't know, but that's how they did it. So that building blows up, and it doesn't just blow up though. It creates like a firestorm that spreads across the city. So it's not just blowing a building up; it's like a wave that they're creating to destroy the city. So that'd be terrifying, wouldn't it, if you saw that? I mean, no wonder people are running away. And there's a firestorm. Going to hit this building. This fella is, I've forgotten, I think he's the visual effects supervisor, and I've forgotten his name. Him. I can't remember his name. He's worked with Roland Emmerich and all of his other films. I can't remember his name, so sorry. Let's have a look, see if I can find it. He's the visual effects supervisor. Bear with me. It's not really important, is it? It is to him, but not to us. I can't bloody find him. Never mind, don't matter. Don't know, can't remember. But that's him anyway. He's got a cameo in the film. Whatever his name is. It's a German name. I'm sure it's a German name. So he's getting blown up. Right, so, and then the same happens in New York. They blow up the Empire State Building. There it goes. Wow. So all they're running for their lives now, but they're all doomed. They're all doomed. Poor Harvey Firestein. Poor Marty. He were on the phone, by the way, to his psychiatrist. But obviously that doesn't matter now, and he just goes, "Oh crap!" There we go. And then it happens in Washington DC as well. Hang on, we see this chap. We saw him earlier on getting on Marine 2. I don't know, the other helicopter that's taking off. There you can see it there. And they're going to blow up the White House as well. There it is. Boom! It's a great model work. There's a documentary on YouTube about the making of this. And they show this. It's a big model that they made of plaster and all that. They blew up and they shot it at 300 frames per second to make it look, a big explosion with all the bits flying everywhere. Cool stuff. Presume that's New York with the firestorm tearing through the city. There you go, people dying. This is obviously Los Angeles. Same's happening there. This is Congress. Anyway, Air Force One's taking off. Look, is it going to make it? Is it going to make it? And but yes, it does just. It does just. In a minute. You're going to show it. Where are you? Oh, it must be coming up in a bit. This is in Los Angeles, isn't it? That's that famous. I think it's Los Angeles. Yeah, it is. It's that famous tunnel that we see in Blade Runner, isn't it? We see that in that, don't we? That she's stuck in is Jasmine. So she gets out of the car. Sees this firestorm heading towards her, and there you go. And she's running down, and she finds this door. Nobody else has noticed it, obviously. She can kick it in, because she must be a dancer. She's got strong legs. Kicks the door in. Calls for the dog, and the worst bit of compositing ever. Here he comes. The dog comes jumping through. Boomer! Here he comes, look. Terrible. You know, it's fine. Obviously, just being in that door saved them from that conflagration. That's not how fire works. It is in this film. And then it's all over. As quickly as it had begun, it's over. But we didn't see Air Force One escaping. Well, it did. A fading look. The statue, Lady Liberty's face down in the Hudson River. There's the World Trade Centre towers. Foreshadowing there, isn't there? Unfortunately. But you notice though, in these films, they always stay up, don't they? You know, they take a pounding, but they always stay upright. Hey dear. Anyway, right. So they're back with the Case family. They're in their camper van, heading for this area where all these other camper vans have stopped. So they're going to stop there. This is back on Air Force One. The president's obviously feeling bad about what's happened. He didn't know what was going to happen. He can't blame himself, but he's obviously feeling bad about it and guilty. So they've got to decide what to do next. What's this? This is Jasmine back in LA. This was filmed at. I'll tell you in a minute. I've got this highlighted somewhere. Where have I got it highlighted? There we go. At the Kaiser Steel Mill in Fontana, California. That's where this was filmed. Where we've seen the destroyed Los Angeles. So this is a steel mill in Fontana, California. So that's where she is. Right. So her and Dylan and Boomer. Right. They're handing out the cigars. These are the victory dance for all the pilots. This is El Toro. Obviously, El Toro are out of the city. So they're going to counter-attack. They're going to get in their planes, their F-18s, and counter-attack. I guess, what's his face? Here goes Jimmy. I forgot his name then. Jimmy's like goofing about a bit, and to be honest, until today, I'd never really noticed until today. I always thought that Jimmy was like a lieutenant and Stephen Hiller were a captain, but he isn't. They're both captains. I always thought. I mean, he gives him an order later, but they're both the same rank. He must be a higher rank captain. I don't know, but anyway, he's goofing off a bit, and Will Smith tells him to pay attention, and the officer in charge says, "You've got something to add." Captain Hiller says, "No, sir, just a little anxious to whoop E.T.'s ass, that's all." Says, "Well, you'll all get your chance." So out they go to their F-18s, and others, I suppose, other planes, isn't there? I think that's not an F-18, is it? Is it? I don't know. I don't know what's what. I'm not big on planes. But when they started this film, they sent the script to the United States military, and they were going to help them, provide them planes and stuff like that for them to use. But then when they found out that part of it were going to be set at Area 51, they just withdrew all their support for the film, and rather than change the script and take out the Area 51 bits, pardon me, they kept him in. They thought, well, sod it then, we'll just carry on without you. So they just built mock-ups of planes and used CG planes and stuff like that. So, here we go. So, they're getting ready to take off. There you go. Captain Jimmy Wilder, Raven. And for all these years, I thought it was like a lower rank. I've never noticed that till today. Hey dear. How many times have I watched this? A lot. And there you go. Captain Stephen Hiller, Eagle. That's his call sign. So, they're getting ready. Off they go. Right. He's worried about Jasmine, and Jimmy says, I'm sure she got out of there. And as we learned that she did, just. Right, so off they go. There we go. All the F-18s heading towards the ship. There it is. They're going to fire all their missiles at it. So they're going to fire Fox 3 and all that stuff. It's all cool stuff. There you go. Firing all their missiles. But unfortunately, it's got shields as the alien ship. Look, none of the missiles get through. But it thinks, I'll have another go. We'll try sidewinders. And for some reason, that means he's got to do that. Don't know why. Don't know why he's got to fly off to the side, but he just does. But he does a cool bit of dialogue, 'cause it sounds ace, where he says like Night 1 or whatever, Night 1 sweep lock control, Fox 2, and it just sounds cool. I don't know what it means, but there you go. So they fire some more missiles, sidewinders, they say. I don't know the difference, but they just impact the shields as well. There you go, like that. So they say pull up. Well, they'd have to anyway, wouldn't they? What they're just going to do? Just fly into the. If it all blew up, they're just going to fly into it. They'd have to pull up anyway, but never mind. And he seems a bit close there. He seems closer there than the shield, but obviously he's not, because as we see, one poor chap don't pull up in time because he's got a failure. And there he goes. He impacts the shield and blows up. And then this bit here, the bit that opened up earlier on, this is where all the fighters, the alien fighters, come out. So this is where the dogfight begins, and we learn that the fighters have got shields as well, so they can't destroy those either. So the planes are going down like flies, they're dropping like flies, and the president says, we'll get them out of there. So they say, retreat to fallback positions and all that stuff. It's not happening fast enough. They're all getting blown up, but Stephen and Jimmy are going to hit the deck or whatever. Hang on, I missed it. I've gone too far. Just get out of here. There we go. We've got to get out of here. So sometimes it says watch the deck. I thought it said wash the deck, but whatever. But they're being followed by 2 alien fighters, but then suddenly there's just one. But never mind. So the rest of the squadron's wiped out. Jimmy and Stephen are heading out into the desert, being followed by the alien marauders, raiders. I don't know what they call them. I forgot. Fighters. But they're at nearly Mach 2. So they're getting some speed up, and but Jimmy for some reason says I'm going to try something, and then starts banking. For some reason, I don't know what he was thinking of doing, and the alien fighter just shoots him down. I don't know what his plan was, but so that's the end of Jimmy. There he is. Poor Jimmy. Why did he eject? I don't know, but and then for some reason, maybe it's the fighter that shot Jimmy down just goes away, and then there's just one of them following Will Smith into what looks like the Grand Canyon. I don't know if it is or not, but anyway. Meanwhile, El Toro's been attacked by a wave of alien fighting ships. So here they go. There they are. Look, pew 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 pew, and everything's blowing up and all that stuff. Then he's in some sort of canyon. Used to love. Well, I still do love this bit. But when my son was little, used to hold him on me lap and all like that, and then as he was flying through the canyon here like that, he used to go like that with him and wow, and he used to love it. And I mentioned it quite recently. We were watching this quite recently. He's all grown up now, And I mentioned, remember when we used to do that? And he went, no. Anyway, so here he is flying through the. I'll say it's the Grand Canyon. I don't think it is, but it might be. I don't know. Does it say in the filming locations where it was filmed? Let's have a look. Apparently, part of this were filmed in Iceland. I don't remember seeing Iceland in this. I have no idea. No idea. Skull Valley, could be that. In Utah. Don't know. Don't say Grand Canyon. Not that I've noticed. Anywho, never mind. Right, where were we? So anyway, so he's flying through. Just the one fighter's following him now, and he's running out of fuel. Look, he's nearly run out of fuel. So he says, right. So he releases his chute out the back of the plane. I presume they use them for, I don't know, landing on aircraft carriers or whatever. I don't know. Releases that chute, and that chute goes over the alien ship, blinding it for a moment. That's assuming that he's not just flying on instruments or whatever. I don't know, but anyway. And then he, I don't know. Then he says, "Hope you got airbag," and he ejects just in time. There we go. As his plane smashes into the canyon wall, and this looks to be heading straight into it directly, doesn't it? But then for some reason, somehow, it comes out the top like that. Don't know how man is that. But these alien spaceships are tough, aren't they? Not like our flimsy flying machines. But anyway, there it goes. It comes skidding to a halt in the desert. And then Will Smith lands in his parachute. So when he doesn't break his legs, like that. So his parachute training instructor's probably shouting at him now through the TV screen. Anyway, he gets up and he sees the crashed ship, so he's being all cocky and Will Smithy, and then he opens, I don't know how, he opens up the ship. Is there a button or something he saw, or does he just pull it open? I don't know, but he opens it up because he just knows how to. And then he punches the alien. There we think this is the alien. It comes out. It's his first look at him. And he just punches it and it gets knocked out. But we learn later on that this isn't the alien. This is like an exosuit, a biomechanical suit that they use. And the alien's actually inside. But you can actually knock out an alien when it's in its suit. Pardon me. It's like a space suit. So if you went up to Neil Armstrong on the moon and punched him, you'd be able to knock him out. Anyway, so he does that, says, "Welcome to Earth," and gets his victory dance out, his cigar. Says, "Now that's what I call a close encounter." Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Jasmine finds a truck with some keys in it. There we go. So, right, so she's got some keys, and so they're off. They're on the road again. Meanwhile, back at the trailer park, which is filmed at, don't know, forgotten. Quartzsite, Arizona, USA. It says here. They're all preparing to leave, and Miguel's been out looking for medicine for Troy, but he hasn't been able to find any. Troy's all sick. You know, if he hadn't smashed his medicine, you know, he wouldn't be in this pickle, would he? Stupid boy. Anyway, but they haven't found any. Anyway, this other lad arrives. There he is, with his little shock of curly hair, and he finds he gives him some penicillin, and he says, you know, that'll help. So she thanks him. I still don't know her name. I'm gonna have to. What the hell is her name? Russell Case. What else we got? Miguel, Alicia. Oh, it's Alicia. Lisa. Oh, I know that name. What have I seen her in? Lisa Jacob. I've seen that name somewhere before. She's called Alicia. What was he in? Known for Mrs. Doubtfire, Independence Day, George Lucas in Love. That's not what I'm thinking of. I don't know. I don't know what I've seen. There's nothing standing out. I'm sure I've seen that name before. I'm sure I have. Sure I have. Oh, she was in the War of the Worlds TV series. I used to watch that, so maybe that's where I know the name from. Maybe that's where I know the name from. But none of the other stuff stands out to me. Right, anyway, whatever. Enough of that. She's called Alicia, we've remembered. So she's all, thank you, because she's thinking, somebody else I can lose my virginity to. So she wants to go with them. And Russell says, no, we're going. And he says, there you go, tell that punk to shut the door. You know, it's just saved your son's life, probably. Assholes. Anywho, right, we see Air Force 1 and 2, I presume they're F-18s. I think that's the only fighter model they had, CG. There's one of these shots, it might be this one actually, it could be this shot. Well, actually done on the PC. You know, all the other CG shots will be done like with big, you know, at the wherever, whoever did the CG effects, they'll have a big, you know, bank of computers or whatever, or big network of computers or whatever. But I think it's this shot. We're done on just a regular PC, just this one shot. I think it was this one. Anyway, David's sick. He gets air sick. So this means, to me, he's the same character as what he plays in The Fly, Seth Brundle. Or maybe he's related to him. Maybe it's his twin, his long-lost twin that changed his name. Because Seth Brundle died, didn't he? Got his head shot off. Anyway. So he's saying, still get sick. It's Air Force One, you get sick. I never get sick. We could go up and down, left to right, backwards and forwards. And David's like, woo! So he runs to the toilet. And then Constance comes out, says, still gets air sick, does he? And she thanks Julius for helping him out. And Julius tells her that all David could think about were getting to her. And says, there's still love there, I think. And she says, love were never the problem. And then he says, love is all you need. John Lennon, wise man, shot in the back, so sad, whatever. Right, it's where we're learning that it's a total loss, and they're thinking of suggesting maybe use nuclear weapons on the alien ships. And the president's not for it. They're saying, as you can see there, I think we should sacrifice more innocent American civilians. And it's where we learn that NORAD's gone. They've taken out NORAD because they're moving now from city to city. They don't just stay over the same one. So they've done New York, and that one will move to another city, etc. They're saying, right, so we'll have to use nukes. And then David comes down, yeah, use nukes. And he starts arguing, it can't be done, but it won't be allowed, and all that stuff. Anyway. So they say, get him out of here. But then Julius comes in and he sticks up for David. He says, none of you will be alive if it wasn't for my David. And then Julius starts going about Roswell, but gets something wrong. He says, you've had that spaceship since, the 50s at Roswell, New Mexico. But everybody knows it was 1947, wasn't it, Roswell, New Mexico, where the ship crashed, allegedly. And the president saying, no, there's no area, and you kept it in Area 51 and all that stuff. And the president's saying, there's no alien spacecraft, there's no Area 51, and all that stuff. But then old slimy Lip Nicky, says, actually, that's not entirely accurate. So now they're heading to Area 51. Meanwhile, Jasmine has got lots of survivors in the back of the truck that she found, and they're heading out of LA, I imagine. And you can see there that they're heading towards this helicopter. I think that's the First Lady's helicopter. That's where they seem to be heading towards. There it is. But first they see a fella. Not Othello, a fella. A chap. Here he is, with a cross that is painted on his forehead, and he's got his Bible, and he's giving it all. Repent and all that stuff. And she says, get in, we're going to El Toro. But obviously he's gone insane and saying, El Toro, that's not in here. So they just leave him. But I suppose El Toro will be in the Bible. There's bulls in the Bible, and that's what El Toro means, doesn't it? The bull. Sure it does. There's a fatted calf. Anyway, here we go. They get to the helicopter, the crashed helicopter, and they find the First Lady, and she's still alive. So they get her. There we go. Find her. She's still alive, but she's injured, badly injured. So they get her in the back of the truck. Right, Will Smith is now on the Bonneville Salt Flats. It's supposed to be like Groom Lake. It must be Groom Lake, 'cause that's where Area 51 is, which is a dry lake bed. Where the Groom Lake, what they call, where Area 51 is, what they call Area 51, the Groom Lake facility is at. Anyways, dragging the alien in his parachute and moaning, and then he starts kicking it, and he says, "And what's that smell?" And apparently that was ad-libbed, because apparently it does stink. Apparently the Bonneville salt flats stink horrible, because it's made up of the surface of it is made up of, like, lots of what they call it, I forgot what they call them now, like shrimp and stuff, crustaceans and stuff that are breaking down and all that. And apparently it doesn't smell very nice. Apparently. And nobody told Will, so he ad-libbed that bit. What's that smell? And then just suddenly out of nowhere, all these RVs appear, with Russell Case leading the way. They just happen to be going in his direction. And actually it's going the opposite way, isn't it? So they must all turn round and go somewhere. So they're actually coming from Area 51. Because he says, Will Smith says to him, I saw a base as I flew over. So I presume he's heading for that. And he says, it's not on the map. And he says, trust me, it's there. In his Winnebago. But so they'll have to turn around and go back, won't they? So have they just driven past it? I don't know. You won't get very far anyway, unless because all the guards will still be there. We all know what Area 51's security's like. If you've watched any documentaries about it, all the camo dudes and use of deadly force authorised and all that. I'm sure they still maintain that even if in a crisis. Anywho, right. So I don't know if that doesn't look like Groom Lake to me. I don't know. It might be. I don't know. But it looks there's too many runways there for it to be Area 51. Anyway, so the land. It was actually filmed at. I'll tell you. Just a minute, because I saw it somewhere. Where did I see it? Yeah, we've got Wendover Airport in Wendover, Utah. That's what's doubling for Area 51 in this. It could actually be that. That could be the PC one. I don't know. I can't remember which one. The CGI. A little moth. Gonna get me. Anyway, so they've arrived. It's where we meet. Is it Stephen Baldwin? I think it is. There he is. Who's been in Stargate SG-1? There you go. Lots of Stargate references in this. He's playing an officer. But he won't let him in, and says, "No, you've got to let us in." The president says, "Open the door." Says, "It's a clean room, got to keep it germ-free." Says, "Open the door, we're going in." So in they go, and this is where we meet Brent Spiner as whoever he's called. I've forgotten. I should know, and I've blanked as usual. That's it, Dr. Brackish Okun. Was named after another one of the visual effects supervisors. Is it Jeffrey Okun? Yeah. But my son says he looks like me. Anyway, so here we go. So they're going to meet. There he is. My son says, "That looks like you, Dad." Anyway, so he's the chief scientist, and that's his assistant, who returns in Independence Day Resurgence. Which I think gets a bad rap. I quite enjoy Independence Day Resurgence. It's not as good as this one, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. I don't think it is. Anyway, so he's going to show them the alien ship that they've got, the fighter, and the aliens as well. So here we go. He's going to show them the fighter. There it is. That's what they recovered from Roswell, apparently. But they've never been able to get it working until the mothership arrived, and then it said all the gizmos inside turned on. And anyway, so they've been trying to repair it since the 60s, but they've learned a lot in the last few days. He says it's been really exciting. He says exciting. I mean, people are dying out there. Anyway, um, so it says, "Do you want to? We've got some dead aliens. Do you want to see them?" So this is what we call the vault, or some of us call it the freak show. Where they've got some dead aliens. These were the occupants of the ship from Area 50, from Roswell, and he said, "Can they be killed?" He says, "Yes. Some of them died in the crash, and some of them died shortly afterwards. So they're as frail as us. They breathe air, but they've no vocal cords, so they communicate with telepathy, etc." Um, so the president suggests to David that he works with Dr. Oaken to work out how they can defeat these aliens. So there we go. So that's what they're going to do. Meanwhile, another Stargate reference coming up, or actor. This is Jay. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Is it Jay Ackervone? I don't know how I pronounce it. But even in Stargate SG-1 as well. It became a goa'uld went in his ear. I think it was in his ear. Went in him anyway, and took over him, and he had a very sad end. But anyway. But here he's playing somebody else. He's playing a guard at Area 51, and all these are arriving. He says, "You're not allowed to come in." He says, "All right, where's your clearance?" He says, "Oh, here's my clearance." And he shows him the alien. And he says, "Oh, let him through." So, don't just let him through with the alien, let all of them through. So, anyway. I don't think that would happen in real life, do you? Anyway, so they're looking in the alien fighter and showing David, the stuff. And as you can see, it's a similar. Seeing all this on the screen, it's similar to what he had on his laptop, didn't it? The signal. So it's obviously like a compatible signal that he can work with, which is why I can get his computer to interface. I know it doesn't make a whole amount of sense, but there's kind of a bit of a logic to it if you think about it. But it's a bit of a stretch, admittedly. Anyway, so there you go. So this is where he's showing that that's the frequency that they use, and he shows it on his laptop and all that. And then where we learn that Stephen Hill has brought in a living alien. So Dr. Oaken goes running out and says, "Don't touch anything." He says, so he touches something and then gets all goo on his hand. Right. So all they arrive. All soldiers are coming, and Russell Case saying his son's very sick, he needs attention. He starts threatening Oaken, saying, we've got to save him. So there you go. So they're going to save Troy. Right. Anyway, so telling them what's going on. NATO and Western Allied installations were first to be taken out, and then the cities and that were hit and all that stuff. I suppose I don't know. But they've got to decide what they're going to do. But first, they're going to have a look at this alien, and he congratulates Captain Hiller. And then he's going to go down and see what they're doing with it. And then Captain Hiller asks about El Toro. I want to get back to my base. And then he's told that El Toro's been completely destroyed. Right. Meanwhile, at El Toro, Jasmine and the gang and the First Lady, they've arrived at El Toro. And there you go. There's even a sign. But she sees it's all destroyed. So they're just going to camp out now for a bit. And this is where she talks to the First Lady and she says, "What do you do?" She says, "I'm a dancer." And the First Lady goes, "Ballet." She says, "No, exotic." And she goes, "Oh, sorry." She says, "Don't be, it's good money." So, don't get all bloody stuffy and elitist with me, biatch. Anyway, there you go. But anywho, so they're getting to know each other. Meanwhile, back at Area 51, they're going to open up this alien, this its suit, its biomechanical suit, and so they get it open, and They see the alien inside, and then its fingers move, and then its weird eye opens, and then it gets out of the thing, and it's using its telepathy, and it takes control of Oaken, and I think it kills everybody else. You know, it has all tentacles and stuff, as we'll see if I land on it. There we go. There you go. It's all tentacles. So I think it kills everybody else, and you think it kills Oaken, but anyway, never mind. Right, so they arrive. They see something's gone wrong in there. Shouldn't be all that smoke. And then Oaken appears at the glass, and the alien's speaking through him, and it says "release me," but it says it like "release me" and all that stuff. There you go, like that. And there it is. There's the alien. It says, "What do you want us to do?" Oh, and it says, "We just want peace." And it says, "Peace? There will be no peace," but in an alien way. And then there you go. And it says, "What do you want us to do?" And it just says, "Die, die." And then it starts getting in the president's head now, and he's going, the president, Mr. President. And says, "Is that glass bulletproof?" Says, "No." So they shoot the alien. There we go. They shoot the alien. And then they go and check on Oaken. So that alien's dead. And they go and check on Oaken. And you think he's dead, look. He's lying there with his eyes open, looking a bit pale. So you think, oh, he's dead. But he's not. He's actually in a coma. He's in Independence Day resurgence. He's in a coma for, I don't know, is it 25 years or whatever, 30 years, whatever. Something like that. So there you go. Spoilers for Independence Day resurgence. But anyway, there you go. It looks dead, but he ain't. So they've killed that one. And the president says, he could see its thoughts, and he knows what they're like, and they move from planet to planet and strip each planet of all its resources. They're like locusts, and where next? So he says, "Let's nuke the B words." That. So, but David's not happy about this, and there's no ice, so he's gonna get drunk because he doesn't like nuclear war. And anyway, so this is where they're having a little chat. He said, "You're a genius. You could have any research thing you wanted." I was happy where I was. But anyway, but they're still in love. But they don't say as much. Meanwhile, Captain Hiller's going to steal a helicopter, and this chap's says, "Stop! You're not taking that helicopter." And he says, "I am." So he'll have to shoot me. He says, "All right, I won't shoot you." So just tell him I hit you. There you go. So he's off in a helicopter to El Toro, and he's going to pick up the survivors and bring them back. Meanwhile, stealth bombers are on the way to, I think it's Atlanta, or what's left of Atlanta. Remember Marty sent his mother to Atlanta? I hope she's all right, okay. Maybe they are, because there's still lights on, look. There's still lights there. Anyway. It's not a complete apocalypse, is it? But anyway, they're going to drop a bomb on the ship. Houston. Oh, I thought it was Atlanta. I think Atlanta's mentioned. I think. Oh, this is obviously Houston. Sorry, it's not Atlanta. Some chaps, they're in like a super toughened vehicle. They're going to observe with the ground surveillance. And here come the stealth bombers. They're going to fire a nuclear missile. Sorry, there's a moth flittering about. They're going to fire a nuclear missile at it. Right, so off they go. Here it is. Birds away. Off it goes. Beep, 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 beep. Then it detonates, and then obviously everything goes blank, and then they're in their hardened vehicle, sparks are flying, but they're fine. They get all their equipment back on, and they're all cheering, saying, "Oh, looks like we've got it," because they can't see it. But then it's still there. The target remains. So even nukes don't work with them. Could have told them that. Didn't work in the 1953 War of the Worlds either, did they? So All they had to do was ask Gene Barry, and he could have told them. Because he's still alive, or he was then. Right, so it's an abort mission. So, Nicky suggests, well, let's try another one. But he says, no, it's not going to work. Oh, pardon me. Right. Here he is now. Stephen's arrived now. Captain Hill has arrived at El Toro with his helicopter, and they're going to have a kiss. There it is. They have a kiss. And this won the MTV Best Kiss Award for that year. I don't usually watch the MTV Awards, but for some reason I watched that one. And I just remember this one, the award for the best kiss of that year. I'm going to show it. There you go. So that was MTV's best kiss. Anyway, so he gets them back, and the First Lady and everybody, they all pile into the helicopter and takes them to Area 51. But they can't treat her injuries. If they got her there sooner, they might be able to do anything, but there's nothing they can do. They're internal injuries. There you go, can't stop the bleeding. So, and this is, it's all very sad, is this. So, he's got to lose his wife now, and she dies. And he's got to tell his daughter. There you go, his mommy's sleeping now. Right, I think we're on July 4th now, are we? Is that coming up? Yes, we're on July 4th. Independence Day. I think, what's his face? David's drunk and he's kicking things about. There you go, throwing things, and because he's angry and drunk, because they've used nukes and it's not worked and it's all going wrong. And Julius tries to console him. He says, well, you still have your health. And then it gives David an idea. It says, you're a genius. And it gives him an idea to give the alien computers a virus. So it doesn't take him long to work this out, by the way. I don't know, an hour? I don't know, but it doesn't take long for him to work all this out. He's a genius, after all. It's Jeff Goldblum. I know Jeff Goldblum's just an actor, but I think he probably could actually save the world in real life, if need be. Anyway, so we're going to show him. There we go. He puts this Coke can on the alien spaceship. Product placement. Speaking of drinking. Bit of product placement, which is fine. But it's not Diet Coke. You think they'd have a Diet Coke, wouldn't you? But never mind. He puts that there. And he says, Captain Stephen Baldwin, I don't know his name. Can you shoot off that Coke can? So he shoots, and then he goes, boing. The craft's got a shield. It must be automatic. And Jeff Goldblum says, sorry, my fault. That, Coke can is protected by the ship's shield. We can't penetrate their defences. Says, if we can't penetrate them, we've got to get round them. So he says, he presses some buttons on his computer. He says, try it now. So he tries it again. And he shoots it off. Pew! There we go. So we learned that he gave it a virus. He inserted a computer virus into the alien spaceship's operating system, and it turned off the shields. So that's his plan. They've got to fly the fighter up to the mothership and plant the virus on the mothership, and then it'll filter down to all the destroyers and all the fighters and all that stuff. And then they'll be given enough time to do your thing. So that's the plan. And obviously Nicky's not happy with that. He says, it's ridiculous. It'll never work. But everybody else thinks it will. So that's going to be the plan. So Captain Hiller and David are going to fly up, and everybody else that can fly a plane is going to attack the destroyers, etc. Right, so they're going to get ready. Meanwhile, the president sacks Mr. Lipnicki. Says, you're fired because you're a weasel. Anyway, they've got to tell the rest of the world the plan. because they're using Morse code and sending signals. And this is in the Iraqi desert. Some RAF pilots and some Iraqi pilots. Because everybody's friends now, because of the worldwide threat of the aliens. Everybody's friends now. So they're saying, oh, what they're going to do? And they want to organise a counter-offensive. And then I think this is the Russians, and this is the Chinese or whatever, I don't know. So they're telling everybody what to do. And this chap, Stephen Baldwin again, isn't it? What's his bloody character's name? I don't know. Stephen Baldwin. No, it's Adam Baldwin. I get mixed up. Too many Baldwins. And this one isn't even a member of that family. It's Adam Baldwin, sorry. So you've all been shouting at me while I've been going on. It's not Stephen Baldwin, it's Adam Baldwin. Anyway, Major Mitchell. Adam Baldwin. I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, yes, he's asking if there's anybody, who can fly a fighter plane. We want pilots. And so Russell K says, I can fly, I'm pilot. So he's going to help out. And after drinking lots of coffee that Miguel's giving him, so Miguel's all proud of him now. So he's ready. Right. So they're putting a nuclear missile on the fighter. So they're going to blow up the mothership with this big nuclear missile. After he plants the virus. So Constance, doesn't know why David's got to go. Why can't he could show somebody else how to do it? Says, well, no, I might have to think on my feet and all that. It's my chance to save the world. Meanwhile, Stephen and Jasmine are getting married. Here we go. Getting married by Ron Howard's father. Is it going to show us? And David and Constance are there witnesses. She notices, does Constance, that he's still got the wedding ring on. So they hold hands. Oh, they would do in a minute. They're doing a minute. There we go. They hold hands. I don't know if she's still got her wedding ring on. Probably not. Anyway, so here we go. Oh, for Pete's sake. Go on, show us Ron Howard's father. You're going to show him. Why is Ron Howard? Is he invisible? Is he a vampire? Why is he not showing him? How the hell? There he is. That's Ron Howard's father. I forgot his name now. I'll find it. He's way down this list. You're all shouting his name at me. I know you are. There we go. Rance, of course. I knew it was a weird name. Oh, peculiar name. Rance Howard. Ron Howard's dad. And Clint Howard's dad as well. And Bryce Dallas Howard's granddad. Right, anyway, so they get married. There we go. So they've done the deed. Right, so this is where he does his speech now. Does his speech all about, July the 4th will no longer be remembered as a American holiday. It's when we will rise up, we will blah, 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 all that stuff. And he says his big speech, and they all cheer, which, was unscripted. All the crowd cheered because he put in a good performance. Did Bill Pullman. So, there we go. We will not vanish without a fight. Yay! Oh, and the fella does his. We're going to see the fella do his salute. There he is, saluting that hard. His face nearly comes off. Look, oh, bloody saluted. So they're getting ready, and we learn that he's putting his flight suit on. Is President Whitmore? Because remember, he was a fighter pilot in the Gulf War. So says, I'm a pilot. The general's saying, well, I'd like to know what you're doing, Mr. President. Says, I'm a pilot. I'm a fighter pilot. General Grey. Right, so. Julius gives David some sick bags, because remember, he gets sick flying. I don't think he uses them. I think we don't see him again. Obviously gets over it. And David gives Julius his, because obviously they're Jewish, so he gives him a thing, whatever they're called, I don't know. So he can be Jewish for a bit. Right, so anyway, they're off. And Julius gives them 2 cigars. He needs his victory dance. So, almost jinxed the whole thing right there. Right, so everybody's getting ready. And Russell Case nearly launches some missiles while they're on the ground, but luckily doesn't. Right, so off they go. It goes the wrong way first, and says, oops, then goes the right way. And so off they go into the sky. This is the president getting into Captain Frank Patrick Hawk's plane. I wonder if that's a person, on the crew, I don't know. So off they go, there he goes. Heading into space. So, it might not have been able to fly the space shuttle, but it's flying an alien spaceship. Here they see there's a destroyer heading towards Area 51. They must have twigged what's going on, so they're heading there. It does get a bit sick, doesn't it? It starts feeling queasy. Right, so here they go. Yeah, cool effects. It goes heading for the mothership. Obviously, the mothership thinks it's one of their own. So there they go. And all the fighters, all the F-18s again, heading towards the destroyer. So in they go, they fly in. There we go. There's an opening there. Kind of reminds me. I don't know. I've got a David Lynch's Dune vibe to that opening. But anyway, in they go. Fly inside. Here we go. And they end up at a docking thing. I think the ship's taken control, so I think it's like automatic. I think they're flying them in and docking them automatically. It closes the window so they can't see him. There we go. So they can't see him, and then he starts putting his virus in. Starts uploading his virus. There we go. Set virus mark. I don't know if this. So if anybody's watching this, would this put a virus on an alien spaceship? I'm sure it would. They probably tested it. Anyway, so they're doing his stuff. They're getting ready to engage. I don't know how they know, because there's no way for them to communicate that, we've got the virus in now. They're just thinking, it'll take them so long to get up there, I don't know, 10 minutes to put the virus in, and then we'll start shooting. So he's uploading the virus, so in it goes. So he's got to hope it works. Oh, there we go. They must have a signal then. Oh, yes, they have, because they said they put the strongest or the most powerful transmitter that attached it to the alien spaceship, so they are in communication. So they know that the virus has been uploaded, and he fires one missile only, Vasily. So off it goes, but the shield's still up, as we see. And they say, "Oh no!" They all think, "Oh, it's not worked. Oh, we're doomed." But the president says, "I'm going to have another go at it." There you go. So Fox 3, so he fires another one, and luckily that one gets through. There you go. Boom! Blows up on the ship. So they all start shooting. They all let off the missiles. And all hell breaks loose because the alien fighters come. But obviously the alien fighters don't have shields now. Look, hey! We can blow them up too. And thusly a big dogfight erupts. So they get ready now. He tries to get them out of there, but they're locked in place. They're clamped in place, and it won't let them go. And then the alien here looks and sees this ship trying to undock, and thinks, "What's going on here?" So it sees it on the screen, and opens up. There you go. See what's going on. What's going on with that ship. Meanwhile, all the battles going on over there, and some of the alien fighters come over here soon and start blowing up stuff over here. So all the people from the RVs have got to get inside the base. There we go. So, right. So the alien opens up the shield cover thing, whatever we call it, blast shield, I suppose you call it. So he says hide. So they've got to there we go hide. Anyway, so everybody's inside the base. Julius is doing some Jewish praying things. Nikki says, "I'm not Jewish. Says nobody's perfect." Oh, pardon me. Troy looks better, doesn't he, than he did? She's found him again. Look, the kid with the shock of curly hair. And as she says, "I don't want to die a virgin," or whatever. And he says, "Well, we both will then." So there you go. "I don't want to die a virgin." And then he says, "If we do, we'll both die virgins, because there's nothing wrong with it. Dying, I mean." A virgin. Anyway, right. The battle's still going on there, above the base. And they're running out of missiles. They're not causing enough damage, apparently. But then the ship starts up. It's getting ready to fire its primary weapon. So, they've got to do something about it. They've got to take it out before they take us out. So off they're getting ready. There you go. The president, he fires a missile, but it gets intercepted or misses, or it misses, doesn't it? I think they fire another and it gets intercepted and then fires that and it hits one of these bits, so that missed. And then when the president's wingman is about to go in and he gets destroyed, and then, "Oh no, has anybody any missiles?" And then Russell Case arrives and he salutes from inside his plane. Says, "It's me, Russell Case, sir." Hang on. Here he comes. There we go. Oh, he did do anyway. Honest. Here he is, look. He does anyway. It must have been earlier on. He goes, "Me, Russell Case, sir," and salutes, and nobody can see him. So he's got a missile. He's ready to go in. But there's a malfunction. But they've got to get there first. But in they go. There you go. He's got his family. Photo of his family there. He gets ready to fire his missile. But there's a malfunction and it won't fire. Look. Oh no. So what's he got to do now? Basically, he's going to ram it with his plane. He says, "Tell my children I love them very much." There you go. So in he goes. And it's getting ready to fire. Look, the energy's building up. So in he goes. Hang on. And he even starts the pre-shooting beam. I don't know what this first beam is, but then it sends like a powerful pulse down it, and that's the one that does all the damage. It's getting ready, and here he is. Says, "Hello, boys, I'm back." And then it flies up. Look, and then boom, blows the ship up. Yay! And it starts, all blowing up from inside, look. So you've got to shoot them just as they're about to shoot their primary weapon. So you've got timings of the essence. But, yeah, so they've done it. So they've got to tell everybody round the world how to bring them down. They go spread the word. Meanwhile, back on the alien mothership, they're getting ready to fire off their nuclear missile because they think they're doomed now. There's no way for them to escape. So, smoking their victory dance. So going to get ready. They're going to fire their missile that they've got on the fighter, and they go fire it off, and in it goes. And the shock of the whatever, there you go, undocks them so they can fly out of there. So they've got 30 seconds to get out of there. So off they go. But then they're being chased by more alien fighters. And says, "Keep going this way, keep going that way." He says, "Stop side seat driving." And then he does his Jurassic Park thing as well, because the doors start closing and saying, "Must go faster, must go faster." There you go, that bit. Anyway, so the fly out, there we go, just makes it out, and the others, the baddie ones, blow up. So it says Elvis has left the building, and then the other aliens come along and see this missile, and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And they go, "Goes to zero, just a countdown." and then boom, boom, a rubbish explosion. I'm really disappointed with that. It just goes. It don't like it's not like the Death Star blowing up, is it? It's just like rubbish. But anyway, but they're fine. You know, they get caught in the blast wave, but you know they're all right. Don't worry. So there you go. Showing. Where are we? There we go. That's the one at Area 51 that's all blown up, and then it starts showing. They're all congratulating each other. And it shows others from round the world. This in that's at Kilimanjaro, isn't it? So is that Tanzania or Kenya? Can't remember. One's by Kilimanjaro, and then there's one by the pyramids in Egypt. And then there's one in looks like it's taken out most of Sydney, but it could be away. It could be away from Sydney. But it's by Sydney Opera House anyway. I'm guessing London and Paris and all them. I don't know, but anywho, so they've won, yay! And everybody's celebrating, and so they're going down all over the world. Tom, I'm supposed to say Tom. It says Torn. Stupid subtitle. Of course, it's Thomas Whitmore. But they haven't heard from Captain Hiller or David Levinson. But then they pick up a signal, and what's his face says, here on the radar, there he is, Tim Kelleher, there he is. We see him through the film, there he is. I mostly know Tim Kelleher. He played the main baddie in the series Dark Skies. He was really good in that, and he had a white eye. Started out as a goodie, then got taken over by aliens and had a white eye, and was one of the main baddies. Anyway, he's a goodie in this. Got something on radar. What's all that churning and bubbling? Mr. Coffee. Anyway, they go out. They take Boomer with them. Just because he must have needed a walk. And there we go. They see it's crashed the fighter, the alien fighter, and they're fine. There we go. So they're going to embrace, and the president congratulates them. And then Will Smith, Stephen, says to Dylan, I promised you fireworks, because he did at the beginning. He got him some fireworks at the beginning of the film. Forgot to mention that. He said, I promised you fireworks, didn't I? Happy 4th of July. And we see all the remnants of the mothership burning up in the Earth's atmosphere. So there we go. And there we go. That's the end of the film. And it's a great film. I love Independence Day. And I like Independence Day Resurgence, which carries on 25 or 30 years later. I can never remember which. You know, the threat is not over. But anywho, that's the end of Independence Day. So, happy Independence Day, America. Happy 4th of July. Next year I'll do The Patriot or something like that. Another Roland Emmerich film. Anyway. So there we go. I like that film. I really like it. I remember seeing it at the cinema back in the day, back in 1996. Hey, when I was younger. 29. So I was old then, but never mind. Anyway, so there we go. So that's it. Happy 4th of July, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that. Me wittering on about a film that everybody's seen, probably. But anywho, right, so we'll leave it there. So, thanks for watching, and wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, hang on, I've just got to sort things out. And until next time, I'll see thee.